Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back for those who were connected this morning. This afternoon's webinar will be about the CENELEC Committee internal voting. I will again be moderating this webinar. I would like to remind you that you will all be muted again, so you have the possibility to enter your questions in the Q&A panel of the GoToWebinar control panel during the presentation or afterwards. Of course, if you are on Twitter, you are free to tweet about this topic and to spread the information. You will receive later today also the presentation in your inbox. So let me now give the floor again to my colleague Melanie, who will guide you to the CENELEC CIV step by step.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I will first present you a small agenda for this application. So first, what is the CIV? We're still having many questions on what it is and what it should be used for. Accesses to the CIV, the workflow, voting roles and notifications, and then we will go, I will make a demonstration of how you can create a vote, how to vote, and how to navigate the application. So first, what is the CIV? So it stands for CENELEC Committee Internal Voting. It's for those who work also on the CEN side, it is something similar to the CIV, which is a CEN Committee Internal Balloting. And its purpose is for technical committees to create questionnaire or survey when necessary, and also have that possibility to have the results compiled for them. So access permissions are via the expert management system as usual. So there's three types of access. So there's the vote owner, which is a role for the TC secretary or the assistant secretary. That's not something that you choose in the expert management system. It's something that's done automatically when you receive this role. Then there's the CIV voters, the people who will represent the national committee to vote in a particular TC or in all TCs. So that role is allocated by the national committee's administrators, also via EMS. And then finally is the CIV commenters, so those organizations which are not under national committees and participate to standardization, or for example, consultant, external liaison organization or consultant. And for those people, accesses are given by CCMC. So the CIV has been available since the 25th of June 2018, and it has been already fairly used by the users. So where do you find it? If you go onto the CENELEC website, and if you go into the tools little box that you find on the first page, then you have the electronic voting link, which leads you to different areas. Like you can also see the technical documents if you have those access to vote on this, and you have a little tab, Committee Internal Voting, which you can access just by clicking, and for which you need to log in. So your accesses are the same as IEC, CENELEC, and national committees if you have those access, and it's also the same as EMS and collaboration platform. So it's just one login and password for the whole package. So the workflow is as follows. So there's first a TC secretary creates a questionnaire within the CIV application, and we set an opening date for the questionnaire. When the date is reached, so the votes open, a notification message is sent to the voters according to that time of the day where you create your CIV. I've heard that sometimes notification is not on the day after sometimes, but yeah, it may be that you have to wait 1 or 2 days before the notification is actually sent. So, or you can always contact us if you worries about these kind of things. It's a batch running in IEC, so it's done all automatically. Then voters can access the questionnaire or the survey, and they can consult the related documents via a link to the collaboration platform. And then they can cast their vote, or they can submit comments. And there's reminders are sent 4 weeks before the vote closes, and 1 week as well before the vote closes. So if you're having only a 4-week voting period, then you only get the reminder 1 week before the closure and not the 4-week ones. And then there's a notification when the vote is completed and closed. For the vote owner, the results of the vote and the comments will be available. They're compiled automatically, which is quite nice to have. And so TC Secretary can download the zip file from the application. I will show you where to find the zip file when the vote closes. So just a quick word again on the voting roles. So the vote owner is the TC Secretary, the Assistant Secretary. They can initiate and run the voting process. They've got more rights than other people. The voters, they can vote and post comment. Commenters can only post comment. They don't have the form is not open for them to vote. And then we've got an extra role, which is administrators for the CCNC staff. Not all staff, only some people from IT. You need to go in the application to help the users, which is identical to the vote owner, but with more extended to all technical committees. So it's the same, except that we have access to all committees areas. So the email notification looks as you can see on the screen. So it's just sent to you opening 4 weeks prior to closure, 1 week prior to closure, and then when it's closed, and then you have link in the notification to the vote that is open, is going to open, or is going to close. What we're going to do now, I'm going to go online on the test platform, and I'm going to just show you how the tool, the application is working. So I'm taking here, so I'm on the CENELEC website in the Committee Internal Voting. I'm already logged in, and I will start by creating a new ballot, a new vote, for example. So you can see at the moment there's only one that was created. This is a test area, so we've got different things going on here. And so it's quite easy to use. You just click on the add. And then you've got the first form is opened where you can specify a number of things for your vote. So you've got, for example, here you can select a technical committee. So you can see here we've got BTTF and reporting secretariat. So this is in test only at the moment, but it's planned to have them in production soon. So I'm going to choose a TC, and then I'm giving a reference. So it's a reference that you give for search purpose, or if you want to refer to a document that's posted on the collaboration platform, and you want it to make it easy for people to find the document. So that's how what you can use the reference field. Then a title, you can put a title as, I don't know, if you want to do the approval of a new work item, for example. You can choose whatever title you want to add. Then you can add or not a hyperlink. So the hyperlink will be a link taken on the collaboration platform. It's the easiest, where you can post if you need people to consult different documents before they vote on the CIV, then you can just put the link to the folder to the collaboration platform, and then people can just click the link and that will be led to the correct folder where they have to consult the document. Then you need to set an opening date and a closing date. So the default time is 1 month, but you can choose what you want. So I've already been asked, can I do a 1 week vote? Yes, you can, but be careful that you don't have any notification that the vote is going to close soon. So it's best to have at least a 1 month vote period if you want to have all at least the opening deadline, 1 week deadline, and closing notification if you need to have the deadline notification. You can do longer period as well. So I'm going to draw your attention now to the opening date. To be able to create your questionnaire, you need that your vote is not open yet. So by default, the system is giving you today's date. If you choose today's date for the system, your vote is open today. So it's going to be open now, and you're going to be unable to set your questionnaire. Because once the vote is open, obviously we don't want to change the question when maybe 5 or 10 people voted already, and then someone would change the question, and then other people after would vote on a different question. So when it's open, it's not possible to modify the questionnaire. So if you've got today's date for the system, today is open, so there's no possibility to modify the questionnaire or to create the questionnaire. So you need to be careful to really choose at least tomorrow's date. And then by default, it will adjust to a month, which you can change or not. And you can add a little note. I don't know if it's something really urgent, or if you want people to really reply by the deadline, or if you want people to make sure that they post comments regardless. So you can put a note to add for your users. Then you can choose a comment type. So you can have online comments, so in which you will have a little field in the questionnaire where people can type their comments, or you can choose the file attachment, which then would be the usual file template for commenting that needs to be used. So the field with the little red star, they're compulsory. So you have to fill in, you have to select a committee, well, that's obvious. You have to give a reference, whatever it is. You have to give a title, and you have to give at least an opening date and a closing date. Once this is done, then you can just save. You've got, of course, the reset button if you're unhappy with what you did and you want to change. But you can save, and once it has been saved, you've got the configure questionnaire, which is showing up. So if I had left the date of 7th, today's date, this would not be showing on the screen. I would be unable to configure my questionnaire. So now we can go and do the questionnaire. So you just need to give a number for the question. Obviously, if you're going to give several questions, it's better to number them, so the system is not going to let you not give it a number. So you need to give at least a number, even if it's just one question. And then you can type in your question, and then you can choose. So that's just a typing field. So you can also copy and paste. If you have your questions prepared in the document, just be careful that to not copy any strange characters, or copy from a file that's a little bit that's been used several times and copied and repasted, because sometimes we've got hidden characters, and it can block either the vote, or it can block the compiling of the comments after. Of course, IEC can always intervene and solve things when necessary, but it may be a bit annoying if the vote is a little bit delayed, or if you don't get your result as soon as the vote is closed, because there's been such characters blocking the system. So here you can select then the answers. So for each question, you can select different answers. So for example, for my first question, I want just a yes/no answer, and I can offer people to abstain if they want. Once you've selected your answers, you can also decide if they can provide a comment, or if they cannot provide a comment, so that's not allowed, or if you want to force them to give a comment. So we could say that, for example, if they say yes, they don't really need to comment, but if they say no, then, or if they abstain, I want them to give a comment. So that's my first question. So I can just save it, and you can see here it's appearing, question 1, and then I can do, for example, a question 2, and I will, for example, give a free response. So a free response, then you cannot no longer select if people can give a comment or not, because obviously they will have a field where they can respond freely to the question. So the field is the size more or less of an A4 page. So I don't think it's bigger than that. Well, anyway, people would have to type the whole of it. We've had issues in the past where people are really complicated document pasted in that field with tabulations and bullet points and things like that. So it's best to keep it simple, really. If you're asking people for a free response, maybe that's not your best option. And then you can just save the question, and then you have your question 1 and question 2. So there's also the possibility to reset. If you started typing something and then you change your mind, you can just reset. That's just emptying the question field. The button new is more or less the same as the save questions. So if you want to start a new question, but if you save, it's giving you already the possibility to start a new question. So you can see here the information on that you filled in the previous window. You can see your date, and then you can always delete a question, for example. If you're unhappy with that question, you don't need it anymore. Delete a question. Yes, I delete the question. Or you can edit a question, and you can change what you want to be done in the question. So I'm going to put back question 2. So we can have a bit of an overview of what is in question 2. So I'm giving it a free response and save. So I've got always question 1, question 2. So when this is done, when you're happy with your questionnaire, then you can go back to the first part of the vote, where you're giving the specific information on what is going to be voted on, and then you can save it again, and it's remaining as it is now. So if you want to go back and see how it looks once done, you need to navigate to the committee internal voting again, and there it is. We've got our questionnaire ready to go tomorrow, and we have already, because I've got the same right as a vote owner, so that's not going to be the case for the voter or the commenter. I've got the possibility to vote on it if I want to before the date. So here you can see there's only 2 votes at the moment, but if there's many, you can sort. We've got some filters, so you can choose by the reference if you're looking for a specific reference. If you're looking for a specific technical committee, then you can make it that only that technical committee is showing on the screen, and also you can choose the dates if you want. For example, if you need to vote on several things and you want to select one date, what's your next deadline, then you can use this column to select the date, everything that's closing on the same date. You can also do a sort of the dates or of the technical committee. So that's the interface you have for all the votes. So when they're up for vote, you can see all of them. You can only vote on those you have rights to vote on. So this is our vote button, and you've got here as well a button if you're a vote owner, where you can still edit the vote, because today it's not started yet. It's meant to be launched tomorrow, so obviously I can still do something in the questionnaire if I want. Now I'm going to set it today to have it open today. So normally, if I go back in, this is a test area, so I see that it's not really working. This is still available. It's not in production. So we're going to go back. So yeah, just to remind you, just to make sure that we start them to start the vote on the next days, because it's June. So, yeah, not working in test. So we're going to see a vote from here, from the voting button. So if you need to vote, if you have only if you have the vote owner access, so you will see the voting button, you will see the edit button that you can use. If you can only vote, then you will see the V button. And if you can only comment, then you will see a C button. So that's telling you I can vote or I can only comment. Then you know it's also one way to know. So if you vote, so this is going to be a little bit different for me than for the voters or the commenters, because I've got the same right as a vote owner. So the vote owner has the possibility to cast a vote for everyone. So for all the national committees, it is possible that if someone cannot have access for whatever reason, you can decide to cast a vote for someone else. It is not possible to post comments. So there's been some issues that if we were making it possible to post comments, then commenters had also access to the votes, which was not desirable. So it's only possible to cast a vote for someone else. So if you need to post comment for someone else, if you're the vote owner, we suggest that you just collect them. And yes, unfortunately, they will not be into the little zip file at the end when it's all compiled. So you can see, as a vote owner, you can see some figures, but who hasn't responded yet. So the number of no response, the number of response you received. You can see your reference, your title, your deadline, and the number of the committee. And then here you can see who's voted what when it's done. So we will go into one and we'll cast a vote for a country to see how it looks like. So here, you can see, so my name, I'm voting for Austria. I can still see my deadlines, committee title, title reference. If there's a link, it's available here. You can just click on the link. If there's a note, you can see the note here. And I can just cast my vote. So you can see here, if we did choose that the comment were optional, if I was saying yes. So I can just say yes, and then I can or not put a comment. But if I say no, then it says that my comments are required. So I have to put a comment, or it's going to be blocking at one point. So I just enter a comment, and then my question 2 is just a free response. So I can just type in my free response. I can copy it from a document if I need to. So here, sorry, if I'm unhappy, I can always reset, which is just blanking all the fields that I've just filled in. And if I am happy, I can reply. I have replied. So now you can see that for Austria, I said no, and there's a little star that there's a comment, and I replied on the 5th of May, and also I have typed in a free response. So if you what you've typed in the field free response, if you browse on it, you can see some of it. I don't think you can see all of it. It's this really long text, but I think if it's just a small sentence or something like that, you can just see it by browsing here. So now you can see that I've received 1 response and 33 have not responded yet. And I can see who has not responded yet. So you can see that Austria is gone from the list here. And if we go to the bottom of the screen, you can see already that I've got no yes, 1 no, which is 100%, and I've got no abstention, and I've got 1 comment. So we can just play a bit with the tool, and we can put a yes. And then we can go here. You can see I've done a yes. And then you can see that now it's 50-50. I've got 1 comment only, because for my yes I didn't have to put a comment, so I didn't put any. And you can see here what I've typed in is really short, can be seen just in the size of the column, so then it's not it's just not in blue be browsed on. It's just there means it's just this word in the free response. So that's for when you need to vote. So if we do something like post a comment, I'm taking this vote as an example, but so if you want to post a comment, you will have all the same information as what is shown here, except that you will not be able to check one of these yes, no, or abstain. That's going to be just great, and you cannot check them, but you will be able to write your comment here in the free questions. For the free response, you'll be able to write something, and in the comment field, you will be able as well to write something. So that's a little bit different. It's unfortunately not accessible to the vote owner because we cannot comment on behalf of someone else. So we can only cast a vote on behalf of someone else. So we only have access to those organizations who can vote. So you can see, for example, if I go into this one, where I've previously cast a vote today, just to try it, and you can see if I go into the next country, for example, if I want to cast a vote for this one, I've put in a comment, please reply by the deadline, for example, and I've put a link to a document, so I can just click on the link, and this will open the collaboration platform. And I arrive in that folder I had selected, where I wanted to show to the person voting the documents that they need to consult. So that's a way to link your the collaboration platform and the CIV. If you need people to consult documents, you can make direct links, and they just need to click, and it's opening the folder, and you know, okay, I have to read those documents in the folder. So that's something quite interesting and useful for the application. Then what we have also here is the closed vote. So this is taking some time. So here you can see everything that's been closed. So it's only available to the vote owner, and you can see the votes, how they were closed, and you can see here is available a little zip file, and it's compiled the answers to the question that you've asked. Unfortunately, because it's a test area, no zip files are available for download. But it's we just have one example, which I will open so you can have you can have a look. So you receive the compilation. So you've got all the information on the votes, and then who voted yes, who's voted no. If you have open questions, or if you have comments, they're also compiled in the document. Unfortunately, the example we have on the test website is not so complete, but that's how it would look like. And then you would have, for each question, you would have all the comments, showing one after another. That's all compiled for you, and you don't need to do anything. Basically, just wait for the vote to close, and then you can go and have the zip file ready for you. So I think for the demonstration we've seen it all. What we could do is have a go. So you can have a look to one with, for example, a comment file. So I want a file attachment instead of an online. And then I can configure my questionnaire. And then I do one question. And I choose a yes and no, for example. you can see also that you have an in favor and against instead of yes, no, if you want to use them instead of yes, no. And then I save my question. And then I go back here. And here, before we go and see the vote, we're gonna have a look at here. Be careful that if you do a delete, it's completely destroying your vote. So it's gone, disappeared. If you needed it, you will have to recreate it. So that's something to pay attention to, the delete button. Then if we go back, and I've got my vote here, I go in for a vote. And so you can see here it's a little bit different. We've got the yes, no questions, and it says that comments are optional. And then because they're optional, you can say, I'm not posting any comments, or I am attaching a file. And you can go navigate and choose a file that you want to attach from here. So it's just the normal navigator. Once you have attached your file and you cast your reply, you have here the date that will be the reception date of your file. So you can go, and here you can, it's telling what date you've posted your file. So when you reply, for example, reply, and then if you, for example, need to go back in, also if the vote is not closed, you're also free to modify your position in the vote. So if you want to change your answer, you can change your answer, and then you can decide that this time I'm gonna attach a file, and then you can go and choose your file, and you can post your reply. And once the vote is closed, all the files that have been attached will be compiled in one file with all the comments. So it's not because you're using the comment file that be more complicated. You will have, if it's comment files, you will have all the separate comment files in one zip file, and you will have also a compiled file with all the comments and the reply of the people to the questions. So as long as the vote is not closed, you can modify your own vote. If you are a voter, you can modify your comment if you're a commenter. But if you're a vote owner, and you can, after the vote is closed, you still have the possibility to cast a vote. And if in case it was impossible for someone to vote, and it's important to have their opinion, there's still the possibility as a vote owner to go back and do something about it. So I think that it's really a simple application. So I think that we've seen everything that they had to see. But I will go back to my presentation, and we will see if we've covered all the interesting points of this application. So all open votes for which you have permission can be seen, or for which you can vote or comment. There's a column reference, management body, and end date. So these columns, management body and end date, are sortable, or you can select with a little drop-down list what you need to deal with. So for those who have a vote owner access, you've got the little tab open, all the votes open, and then if you don't find the vote because it's closed, and you need to click on the little tab close, then you can find all your closed votes and retrieve the zip file if necessary. For the creation of the vote, we've seen is the little button add, and it will open. So for myself, it was all the TCs and all the BTTF and reporting secretary, because this is a test area. But for yourself, you will have those groups for which you can create a vote. And then there's also the possibility to group on the websites we didn't see. You can filter on the committee, on the end dates. It's the same filter as it's put on the different columns, just a different way of accessing it. Then we've seen how to create a vote, so that you need to fill in the template with all the metadata, that the stars fields are compulsory. So you will only see those committees for which you have access in EMS, and the system is giving you as a default date 1 month, as a default length 1 month, and as a default date today's date. But it's better to prepare your vote in the future, so at least with tomorrow's date. Then once you have saved the metadata, you can click on the configure questionnaire, where you can start creating your questions and choosing the answer you want to make available for all the users. So you can choose different type of answers and different type of way of having the comments. And if you need the comment template, so it's the same one, it's the commenting form that's available for all type of commenting in CENELEC. So it's possible to download it as well from the CLC boss if you would wish to inform your users that they need to use this template. The tool can be used for any type of questionnaire or survey you need to have within the technical committee. So it can be, or if you decide that you need opinions on the creation of a new work item, if you need to appoint a new convener, and if you want to ask within the group if they want to appoint one or the other person. It can use from really different, any survey that you need to be compiled, for which you need to consult with the national committees, and that needs to be compiled afterwards. So it's possible to edit the existing votes. You can modify the question and the answers, but you cannot add or modify the questions when the vote is open, which is normal, that you don't want people to vote on different things on the same ballot. So casting a vote is done using the V button, and when one person, so when you're a vote owner, it's always going to be grey. But if you're just a voter, once you've casted a vote on one of the ballot, the button is orange. So if you've got many to manage, you can see which ones you've already casted a vote for, and you know if they're just then okay, they're done. You don't need to look at them anymore, or whether you need to change your vote or change your comments, and you can look for the orange ones and not for the grey ones. For submitting comments, the little C button for the comments for people who can only submit comments. And here is the screen is the same, except that the yes, no answers, abstain, they're not available for the person. They can only fill in the free response or the comment field, or they can only post a file with comments. So just for the file comments, so it should be a .doc or a docx and no other type of files, and it's really best to use the commenting form available on the CLC boss. Same as for the voters, when you've cast your comment, then the little button becomes orange, so that if you're managing many, or you can see the ones you've already done or not. So we've seen the reset button. If you're starting to fill in things and then you no longer agree with what you've written, you want to delete, erase, you can just push on reset, and then that will just empty all the fields that you have filled in previously. So when consulting the votes, the vote owner obviously can see more than other people. They can see the metadata, they can see the participation summary, they can see the result details, so what we've seen at the bottom, where you can see the percentage who's already replied yes, no, if they posted comment or no, and who's voted not yet, how many organizations voted or haven't voted. And so they can cast a vote on behalf of someone else, or they can update a vote as well on behalf of someone else. And they can also add votes after it's closed. It's not possible to post a comment for someone else, unfortunately. Once the vote is closed, the results are available the day after. So you can go to the close button and then you can have a zip file that is available on the close tab, where you can retrieve all the comments, all the files already compiled for you. And you can also still have a view of the vote when it's closed, where you can still see who's voted what, when, and if they posted comments. So that's it for the presentation on the CIV. So if you have any questions, so there's a user guide on the CENELEC website that still requires a little bit of update, but it's pretty complete. And same for all our applications, you can always contact us at itsupport@cenelec.eu. Behind this email address is myself, Elisa Matarese, and Sven de Bolster. If you have a business questions, then you should rather address it to your CCMC contact point. So that person in CCMC that's usually helping you with TC matters. And of course, if you have a content question, then it's best to contact the TC secretary